Yo, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Timothy here. We're here for round 3 for all the marbles. We're in the finals. We're trying to win this 8-man or this league or whatever you call it. We are on the play, which is great for us. We're hoping to hit a bunch of 2-drops. Saving Grace is in my hand, and we got 2-2-3. Binding Mummy plus Mummy Paramount. I said this in the previous video when I was playing Black White Zombies, but it's interesting when you have these two in your hand, which one you'd rather play first. And I think it's right to play the Mummy Paramount first, because swinging for 3 is almost going to guarantee you damage anyway, whereas playing Binding Mummy first is going to guarantee you an attack for the most part, but less damage. But I think there are very few things. Oh, this is going to be a sweet curve. Just hoping to hit lands again. I forgot. Oh, yeah. There aren't a lot of things that can block a 3-3 on the play. Like a 2-mana 3-3. Well, there are a bunch of 0-4s, but does my opponent have an Essence Scatter? And we drew perfect mana. Now we just wanted the Pride Sovereign, hands down. I'm going to play Spearmaster this turn, and then go double Binding Mummy next turn, which does miss me a point of damage this turn, but makes up for it next turn, right? Because I'm going to get double triggers, assuming all my creatures live and blah, blah, blah. See if my opponent has an Essence Scatter, or I would get got by a Censor. I don't want to get got by Censor. I'm fine with getting got by Essence Scatter. Scatter's fine. Scatter works. Scatter is super important for white decks. Do need to draw a little bit of gas here. Oh, my opponent missing a land drop. Seems to happen a lot to my opponents. We're going to go Mummy Mummy. Another counterspell? You have a Supreme Will or something? Countervailing Winds would do it here too. Alright, nothing from the opponent. No, I don't want to use that ability. You may tap target artifact. I don't want to tap target artifact or creature. Oh, gotta put all abilities in the stack. I see. How do I say no to this? Oh, I have to target and then say no. I see. The complications of playing online. In real life, you would never say, I'm going to target your guy and not tap it, right? Just not a thing you do. Alright, jamming for 4 is sweet here. Presumably. Winds of Rebuke. Oh no, that does let me tap some stuff down. I milled a Sunscourge champion, which is fantastic. My opponent, Kenner Scrapper and an island. Okay. So, opponent holding me off just fine. Could have the stupid 2-3 here, which would be annoying. So I think I'm going to attack with both of these first. And then probably play Sunscourge champion. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. Question is, do I want to use Saving Grace to save one of them? If that's the case, I think I cycle first before blocks. Okay. Yeah, we'll let my opponent block. And then we'll Saving Grace. And that's fine. We're only getting 2 damage here. My opponent's on 4 spells in hand, 5 cards this turn. Binding Mummies are going to be good here. This is going to be really hard to kill. Puncturing Blow would do it, but aside from that, do you attack? I would like to see an attack here and then just play out a blocker. Then I can bring a Sunscourge champion back, tap 2 creatures, attack for 4. I don't have a lot of pressure on board. Also, if my opponent's holding up a counterspell, it's a lot harder for them to counter the Sunscourge champion than something else. Minotaur's good draw here, so I could play these 2 out, or I could play Sunscourge, discard the land and hold Mummy Paramount as just another way to tap things down on another turn. I like playing the Sunscourge Champion, but I think I want to play it post-combat here. And in fact, if my opponent doesn't even do anything, then I might just play Emberhorn Minotaur. We might see another 2/3 flyer here. That would be annoying. Can't do anything about it this time. Electrify on that one. Okay, Electrify on my Binding Mummy's not terrible, and it makes me glad that I didn't play anything first. My opponent just not doing too much. I think I'm going to play Emberhorn Minotaur here and just keep that guy in my hand. I could play both of these out, but I'd have to play my land, and then I don't have anything to discard to bring the guy back. Plus, having this zombie in my hand seems sweet. Just decent. And if I draw another land next turn, I can still do all of that. Emberhorn Minotaur is very good on this board, though. In fact, getting to tap something down with a zombie and then exert this and deal damage, hit with Menace is great. All right, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I just get to tap something down. Well, my opponent doesn't even care about my Menace. See, now I don't even have to exert Emberhorn Minotaur. It's great. My opponent knows I have this Mummy Paramount in hand, right? All right, cool. So I do get to play both these out, but I actually think I'm going to keep Mummy Paramount in my hand, because it taps down another thing next turn. Discard the plains. Tap down your Granitic Titan. Gain 4 life. Look, we just became a full-on red-white zombie deck. Use Binding Mummy's ability. I don't know if it ever came up in the draft. I'll have to double check, but we might have considered taking like a frontline Devastator over something else because it is a zombie, but we didn't know we were going to end up with all these Binding Mummies. I think we have, what, 3 Binding Mummies in the deck? Maybe 2. This card's good. Again, it's not the most aggressive card for red-white, but it comes back pretty cheaply with Eternalize if you have a spare card to discard. And it's looking pretty strong here alongside Binding Mummy. All right, opponent drawing on their main phase is great news for me. It means they don't have very much. Assuming they just have nothing here, I get to play Mummy Paramount, tap down Granitic Titan, attack with everything, exert Emberhorn Minotaur. All right, they did draw stuff. Do you attack with your flyer still? That's the question. Oh, let me just hit another Binding Mummy. No. All right, so Mummy Paramount's definitely coming down. We are going to tap down your Titan, I think. Yeah. And what can we serve with? Either of these, if they get double blocked, they eat 2 creatures, because he only has 1 toughness blockers besides his 2/3. I would like to use the ability. If I attack with Binding Mummy, actually, if I attack with these, he has to block one of them, even though he may just chump. So if I attack with Binding Mummy as well, he doesn't have great blocks on it. So he could, like, block here, chump Sunscourge, take 5. Do I want to exert this? I don't think I need to. If Mummy Paramount could attack this turn, that would be great. All right, so I do think I'm attacking with these, all 3 of these, and then, like, the only way he could kill this is triple blocking it, and he can't afford to do that because he has to block at least one of these. If I don't attack with Menace, does he get to... No, it still eats it as a double block, and I get to attack with Menace next turn. So I like not using Exert here. So I can use it next turn. Although if I were my opponent, I would probably double block Minotaur just to get it off the board. That makes sense. This works great for me, I think. Yeah. So I get to keep my potential Menace threat. Champion of Wits is strong. It comes down, you draw cards equal to its power, and then discard 2 cards, and then you can eternalize it for 7. See what our opponent discards here. We haven't won the game yet. This is where like Inferno Jet looks really nice. Speaking of which, my opponent discarded an Inferno Jet. Probably recognizing that it's unlikely for them to win through pure damage here. My best draw is probably Desert's Hold or Vizier of the True. My opponent with 2 cards in hand, me with kind of no more gas. Alright, that's intriguing. That means something. Maybe an open fire or something along those lines. Alright, Talkrop Elite's a fine draw. So, yeah, that was a really interesting attack. So, I like exerting this here. My opponent probably with like open fire or something like that in his hands. But if I don't attack, that happens anyway. If they have open fire, they get to eat Mummy Paramount. Yeah. It's not great to attack with the other 2 here, I don't think. Although I could probably attack with Bind and Mummy. I think so. So my opponent can't really kill it if they use something to kill my Emberhorn Minotaur. They could just block it, though. But let's assume they don't have anything to block. Or they don't have anything in hand. Which it's very likely they do. I don't think they're killing this. We're going to exert and leave it up to my opponent to have a removal spell here. Open fire would do the trick. No, they let the exert happen. Ah, Gale Strike. That works. That's actually real good for my opponent. And they get to just block with the Reed Stalker. Works out nicely for them. That makes probably Minotaur still just my best card here. I will play this out in case I draw something that I want to play in the same turn as Talkrop Elite. I don't want to feel bad. I might lose this game. My opponent's putting a lot of pressure on board. I'm falling behind a little bit here. Quite a bit, actually. Like, I can't just let the 5/4 Menace keep hitting me. My opponent still has a card in hand. Alright, we drew Pride Sovereign. That could be great. Let's go ahead and same play. They have to double block. That means I get to eat 2 of their creatures. Unless they have another thing in hand. Alright, they let the Menace happen again. Yeah, blocking with Champion of Wits is probably the best because you can eternalize it as a 4/4. Trading this for these 2 seems great for me. And then being able to play both these out this turn is awesome. So we're going to lead with Talkrop Elite because we'd rather have our Pride Sovereign survive a counterspell if that's what they have. And if I get to untap on this board, I feel great. I probably would double block this if he attacks. If he attacks with both here, I'm very suspicious of like a burn spell, but might just eternalize his guy. Yeah. So that uses up his whole turn. He can't attack with anything or he dies. And if I draw a zombie, that's great. I don't have amazing attacks, but could attack with Talkrop Elite and trade it for the flyer, but he gets to embalm that. Doesn't look like a match where we're going to want. Well, he has 2 guys that die to Aura Blade, so we'll consider it. I don't think Kindled Fury is what we're going to want for this matchup. Alright, anything but land seems great. In fact, Desert's Hold or Vizier of the True just wins us the game. A zombie. Fortunately, a land there. We've seen 10 of our 16 lands. Alright, if I attack with everything, what does he do? In fact, well, he goes down to 1. But that's not amazing. In fact, like I get another attacker on board for the next turn. Pride Sovereign plus Top Crop Elite is great, but my opponent did just like completely fill up their hand. That might have been my opening to win this game. They could come back into it with 3 new cards in their hand. They discarded 2 lands from the 4 cards they drew. So my opponent's probably on gas here. All right, we will go ahead and exert in response. My opponent correctly identifying how much of a threat that is. Well, I don't know. I might have. Well, no, you have to go for that. Another blocker. Okay, Kenra Scrapper. All right, again, we need to hit a removal spell or... not quite. Here, if I exert an attack with everything, still not winning the game. He can just block 4 creatures, eat a bunch of them, and then I would gain 4 life. So we're going to play Honored Crop Captain and set us up for next turn. Keeping this mountain in my hand at this point in case I draw like Burning Fist Minotaur or something like that. Yeah, him drawing 4 cards was great there. Oh, doesn't look like he has too much going on. Another creature here. Like my opponent's... oh, Magma Spray. Dang. Opponent drawing very well against me, but he can't afford to attack. If I get through 2 attackers, he loses when I exert. Well, there's Burning Fist Minotaur. We'll just keep putting dudes on the board, and at some point, my opponent's either going to clear off enough creatures that I will lose, or my opponent won't have enough blockers, and I'll get to win with this Top Crop Elite. I have a lot of good draws here. Any zombie does it for me. Vizier of the True does it because it'll tap something when I exert this. But my opponent just keeps playing 1 blocker for each attacker I play. Then I'll get ahead eventually. Man, they just get... I don't know if you wanted to do it on that guy. Top Crop Elite seems like the thing you want to kill here. All right, start to finish, good draw. Finish, not so much. Or at least not on the board. That makes Survivor's Encampment a good draw. I think even Farm to Market would be great here. 1 card in hand from my opponent. They've drawn just as many lands as we have. Let's go ahead and cast Start. This sets me up for a win, assuming my opponent has nothing. Desert's Hold, we'll throw out 2 just to kind of guarantee it. I think we want to put this on just the thing that can hit us for the most on the swing back in case something goes wrong. They'll have 3 blockers. I will have all of my... any combination of 2 creatures that gets through will work. So they're going to have like a double bounce spell, or a flash creature won't do it. Let's go ahead and just lock this guy down and then attack all in. If Top Crop Elite gets killed before combat, yeah. All right, cool. That was getting a little closer than I would have liked. Opponent's deck seems solid. I think I will bring in Disposal Mummy here. That seems solid. I mentioned something that wasn't going to be as good. I don't recall what that card was off the top of my head. I don't remember. We are going to go ahead and take out Unconventional Tactics. Boar of Blades, I think I remember saying, was going to be decent here in case I have Firebrand Archer or their Burning Fist Minotaur. Saving Grace could be fine. Saving Grace actually decent against Open Fire and a couple other cards like that, but it's not amazing. Like, my opponent's going to win through attrition, I think. I don't think I want Saving Grace here, although I might. I like the rest of the cards in my deck. So Saving Grace is going to come out, and we're going to ship like this. My opponent's deck is very good. Magma Spray, Puncture and Blow, Open Fire, bunch of bounce spells. So we're going to have to fight for this win, I think. We are on the draw as well with not a great hand, but we are going to keep it. We don't get started on until turn 4 with this hand. We'll just draw plains here would be great. Yeah, with 4 drops, I am going to play this desert just to guarantee, like, if I just straight up don't hit lands here, this could be bad. Okay. Boral Blades, 1 time. Alright. At least we get to keep at parity with my opponent. Desert's Hold will come in pretty clutch here. Firebrand Archer is going to add up a little bit of extra damage. And if they attack, I'll block, I think. Just so I'm not taking the extra incidental damage. It clears off 2 damage now, but in the course of the game, it really clears up like 5, 6 extra damage. My opponent looking like they're holding up Essence Scatter. See, now I wish I had kept the Desert in my hand, but that's fine. We're going to go and pass, not give my opponent a chance to Essence Scatter, and then use Start to finish. Or at least, we're going to use Start. Alright, Champion of Wits is solid. Does let me cast my Magmaroth pretty freely next turn. Desert's Hold's also a good answer for Eternalized creatures, because it basically kills them without sending them to the graveyard where my opponent can reuse them. Let's see what they're pitching here. Winds of Rebuke and Granitic Titan, which to me shows that they probably kept a couple lands in hand, or their hand is just very good. Alright, Magmaroth coming down, or do I want to play Emberhorn Minotaur? Well, we're going to attack. This is a free attack. I don't think they're going to block. But my guys having Vigilance is sweet. Huh. Might just want to stave off enough early damage. Magmaroth beats the hardest. Emberhorn Minotaur is harder to block. And I think I'm going to be playing creatures for the next couple turns. So they could easily play like a 3-power guy here. I think Magmaroth's going to be the card we want to run out first. Although we're not looking to use our Desert's Hold right away. Uh-huh. My opponent did nothing. That to me says I probably shouldn't attack with this 1/1, so I won't. Because if they have the 2/3 flyer, it just gets eaten. Alright, Gale Strike's not bad. Gale Strike's good for my opponent. Not terrible for me, though. Desert Ceradon's going to come down now because it can stop a blocker. And then if I draw a land, I can go like Magmaroth plus Burning Fist Minotaur. Alright, they have their own Ceradon. I'm ahead in the game right now. Ahead. Desert of True. Do I want to play that or do I want to cycle that? I think I want to play it. Play out a 4-drop, attack for 5. Desert's Hold will very likely do the trick. If I didn't have a bunch of 4s in my hand, I would probably keep the Desert, but do get to put my opponent down to 14 here. They're going to need an answer to this card specifically. And again, actually the Minotaur starts to look like it deals the most damage here. But I don't want to play something that straight up dies to open fire. So Magmaroth coming down. And then the plan next turn, we'll see if we hit a land or not. We could go Minotaur plus Desert's Hold. My opponent's very close to eternalizing his dude. But I think they're in a position, oh, they also don't have an extra red, so they have Puncture and Blow in hand. They can't use it. And they conceded. All right, well, we had a lot of opponents just concede to us today, but I do think we were very far ahead there, especially having Desert's Hold in hand means another blocker gets shut down, and I just get to attack for, what, 5, 10 damage that turn? So, yeah. I think our deck was good. We didn't really get to see the power of Pride Sovereign, but it came up in 2 games, and it helped us win those games, and I'm very happy with how this draft went. I'll have to go look at my own draft. There was a point very early, I think it was maybe second pick, where we took Burnin' Fist Minotaur over Resolute Survivors, and I think the Survivors would have ended up great in our deck. Um, also, didn't get to see us cast Finish or Market, unfortunately, but I'm happy we won another trophy. We're on 3 right now, and I appreciate you guys watching. Any feedback you have would be great, whether it's about the draft or the games or even just the recordings in general. Anything you guys have to share, I'll listen to it. Appreciate you guys for watching. My name's Timothy, and I'll see y'all for another draft soon.